You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Do you need a car? Been shopping only to be turned down because of bad credit, low credit, no credit, bankruptcy, or divorce? Guess what? Today's your lucky day, because now you can buy a car, truck, or SUV, just about any vehicle. It's true. Bad credit doesn't matter. No credit doesn't matter. Bankruptcy or divorce, it just doesn't matter. As a matter of fact, your job is your ticket to your new vehicle. We're Auto Credit Express, and we've helped thousands of people just like you. Antonio H. told us, great company, got me connected, and the day I went in, I drove off in the car I wanted. 100% worth your time. Need a car? Get started now and drive off as early as today. Just text FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911 right now to get started. That's FINANCE, FINANCE, to 357-911. Auto financing the easy way. Text FINANCE to 357-911.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Everyone loves liberty. Our rights come from God, not the government. So why are you letting other people tell you what's best for your health care? Exercise your freedom with Liberty Health Share. Liberty Health Share is a community of people who voluntarily share one another's medical costs. Liberty Health Share is founded on the idea that most people truly want to help one another. Healthcare sharing allows members to do just that as a true community that supports one another in times of need. Liberty believes people should make decisions for themselves and their families. Members are able to take back the freedom to make their own decisions about their health care. Freedom from guilt or doubt about how your money is used. You have the freedom to direct your health care, not to be dictated to by bureaucrats. Stop letting others tell you what to do and join a community of like-minded people. Exercise your freedom. Join Liberty Health Share and take back the control of your health care while helping those around you. Call Liberty at 855-58-LIBERTY. Again, that's 855-58-LIBERTY for more information, or you can check them out at libertyhealthshare.org. Again, that's libertyhealthshare.org.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
At St. Jude, a family never sees a bill at all. It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Sometimes writers feel lost, unsure why a passage may not be working. It's takes another set of eyes to help us nurture our writing into full maturity. At Black Wolf Editorial Services, we strive to enable writers to develop and grow, offering manuscript critiques and line edits through a mentoring editorial style. We also offer assistance on generating a writer's bio for your websites. Black Wolf Editorial Services, nurturing your...
You're listening to the Spark Radio Network, internet radio like you've never heard before. Innovation, creativity, and imagination are all said to begin with a spark. So fasten your seatbelt and take the ride of your life and listen for the spark.
You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My name is Jessie, and I'm proud of the life I have, surrounded by military and aware just how big the world really is. I have a unique perspective on life and the world around us. If you're willing to listen, I'll tell you how I see it, and I won't pull any punches. This is my POV, which stands for Point of View. Alright, it's Jessie. How y'all doing out there today? Yes, I miss you when we're not talking. And yes, too many buttons got in my way tonight. I had an extra mute on the microphone. Womp womp. My bad. Host Kitty, did you push that button? Host Kitty's not even in the room. So, couldn't have been him. Alright, so what's on tap for tonight? We're gonna talk Russia, Rubles and Lira. Lira, by the way, is the currency of Turkey. Yes, Turkey the country. No, we're not talking animals. Although I do have an animal story to end the show on, because it was some nice, interesting, good news. And, of course, there's North Korea and China to discuss, as if there wasn't enough chaos in the world. Alright, so we are going to take a brief commercial break, and I will see you on the other side here at KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
My son was in the Army back during Desert Storm, but even then he wanted an MBA. He looked at a dozen schools, but only one offered the online education and flexibility he needed while he was in a tent in Iraq. Grantham University. Turns out that Grantham's been delivering affordable, relevant college and advanced degrees for over 65 years. Heck, if they can deliver a quality education to a soldier in a tent overseas, think about the flexibility Grantham can offer you so you can earn your degree too. It doesn't matter how complicated or full your life is. If getting a degree is on your bucket list, you'll want to do what my son did. You'll want to call Grantham. Find out how easy it is to get started on your education so you can check that college degree off your bucket list. Call Grantham right now. 800-910-1370. That's 800-910-1370. Flexible, affordable, relevant. Call 800-910-1370.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, $100,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
You're out here acting so tough, and now I'm calling your bluff. Black hoods and no faces. We'll take it out to the streets. That's where we can meet. You bring your sticks, I'll bring gauges. Just don't know what you've been asking for. This means war.
All right, thank you for hanging in there with me while we paid those radio station bills. And yes, I am Jessie, back with Jessie's POV. And excuse me, but my allergies are acting up today. And well, I've been hanging around some unusual chemicals for me, so I'm a little worse than usual. Nothing big, nothing crazy. I was out working with some wood stain and things, and I don't normally do that. So that's all it is. Relax, friends. Now, we are going to start with the wonderful country of Yemen and Saudi Arabia. Yes, there has been a tragic event in Saudi Arabia, or in Yemen, that is being blamed on Saudi Arabia. I don't know if they did it. However, I'm guessing they probably did. And that's because the Houthi rebels have been firing into Saudi Arabia. So it wouldn't surprise me if Saudi Arabia struck back. I mean, really, if you're being bombed, wouldn't you strike back? Because I know I would. Alright. Yemeni tribal leaders say airstrikes in northern Yemen have been blamed on the Saudi coalition, killed at least 20. I have seen the death toll as high as 29, as low as 20. I'm guessing the answer is somewhere around there. However, no one knows. I've also seen one report of 50. Now, this was a school bus. Most death toll reports are somewhere in the 20s. A Saudi-led coalition airstrike. No one knows for sure if it's Saudi, but I'm gonna go with it because it probably was. Killed dozens of children Thursday when bombs hit a school bus in northern Yemen. The Houthi-run health ministry said at least 50 people were killed, at least 29 children and 63 injured. Most were younger than 10. Now, I abhor the bombing of school buses, hospitals, houses of worship. However, I don't know if Saudi had received information that the bus was carrying something other than school children. I don't have those answers. Wish I did, but unfortunately, that is something you would have to ask Saudi officials, and they aren't talking. At least not about this. And the UN Secretary General urgently renewed his calls for a negotiated political settlement through inclusive intra-Yemeni dialogue as the only way to end the conflict. He urged all parties to de-escalate and engage constructively. And there have been talks scheduled for Geneva in September. Now, the goal of the Saudi government is to reinstate the internationally recognized presidency of Abu Rabu Mansour Hadi, who rebels drove into exile 3 years ago. Now, a little bit of thumbnail. Yemen is a failed state. Half of the country, is run by the Houthi rebels. And when we are discussing Houthi rebels, we are discussing a group that is funded by, ding ding ding, Iran. Now, I have checked all kinds of sites. Everything from domestic to international. I have scoured the web trying to get accurate information. However, I have not been able to find anything. And just for the record, Al Jazeera, which usually has excellent information, says that it just says dozens and 29 children. I'm double checking the article right now. They say 15 dead and dozens wounded. The vehicle came under attack as it was driving near a crowded market in Houthi-controlled province of Sada, which borders Saudi Arabia. And that's according to the International Red Cross. Its medical team at the at its local hospital that it supports had received the bodies of 29 children, all under 15. 48 wounded people, among them 30 children. Now, according to the Saudi coalition spokesman, Colonel Turki al-Malki, said that the airstrikes conform to international and humanitarian laws. However, a Yemeni journalist based in Sana'a said there were no Houthi fighters in the vicinity of the market where the attack took place. And it's a known market. There were no military installations nearby. Now, this is not the first time Saudis have hit a school, a wedding, or anything else. And I don't support what the Houthis are doing, but I also don't support the bombing of purely civilian targets. Now, I will say there is one huge thing that must stand out. If attacks on civilian areas continue, aid workers, the few that are there, including the Red Cross, or as it's known in that part of the world, Red Crescent, will have to pull out. Now, Saudi did strike the port city of Hodeidah, and I actually am not sure how I feel about that one, but there were fighters at the port. There always are. According to the United Nations, at least 10,000 people have been killed in the 3-year war, a death toll that has not been updated in years. I'm willing to bet it's higher. The UN Special Envoy for Yemen, Martin Griffiths, has been pushing the warring parties to restart the peace talks, and he announced plans to invite Yemen's combatants to Geneva on September 6 to hold the first round of negotiations. We will have to wait and see where that ends up. And I've seen a few death tolls in the 40s, so the kids may be the 20s. I don't know. All right. Since we're discussing Yemen and Saudi Arabia, why don't we go back to Saudi? Yes. Canada is continuing to press Saudi Arabia on the human rights issue, and Saudi Arabia has begun selling Canadian assets. Yes. However, Saudi Arabia reassures Canada on the oil supply, despite selling assets. This is getting ridiculous. This is getting absolutely ridiculous. And I do have a statement from Prime Minister Trudeau. Let's see if I can get that queued up.
Diplomatically and politically with the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We have respect for their importance in the world and recognize that they have made progress on a number of important issues, but we will at the same time continue to speak clearly and firmly on issues of human rights at home and abroad wherever we see the need. Obviously, Canada will always stand up for our workers and our companies. We need to make sure that we're protecting Canadian interests in any situation. We continue to engage with the government of Saudi Arabia. The Minister of Foreign Affairs had a long conversation with their Foreign Minister yesterday, and diplomatic talks continue. We have always had a positive and constructive relationship with countries around the world, while at the same time always making sure we're bringing up human rights concerns, because Canadians expect that, and indeed people around the world expect that leadership from Canada. We will continue, we will do so in a constructive and polite way, but we will also remain firm on standing up for human rights everywhere around the world.
And that was a statement by Justin Trudeau at a press conference yesterday. Now, Saudi Arabia has been selling off Canadian assets. That is not something you do to a friend. Riyadh is fuming. Riyadh is absolutely furious that Canada demanded 2 women's rights activists be released to jail. And I agree with them. It is a value over cultures and wars. Now, the Saudi investment freeze in Canada is not huge. But what gets me is they're still going to sell Canada oil. It shows you what Saudi really wants. Money, money, money. Canada's main stock index rose on Thursday as energy shares bounced back on higher oil prices, and Saudi Arabia reassured Canada that the oil would continue to flow following the ongoing diplomatic dispute. The row over human rights in Saudi Arabia will not have any impact on Saudi oil supplies to Canada. And this is after Riyadh froze new trade with Canada and ruled out mediation efforts. This is absolutely insane. So Saudi Arabia is going, oh, we'll still take your money, but we don't want your diplomats in our country. And guess what, folks? I've got a response for that.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
And that is a fact. Because you don't kick people's diplomats out and continue to and sell off their assets, while at the same time, oh, we'll sell you oil. Something about that just doesn't sound like they're that mad. They may be mad, but I have a sneaky feeling they're not fuming all that bad. Because, well, they're willing to take the money. That tells me Saudi Arabia is in this for the money. Alright, folks, it is time to pay those radio station bills. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at Radio Host Jesse. And I will see you back here on KLRNRadio.com, where liberty and reason still reign.
You can stand me up at the gates of hell, but I won't back down. No, I'll stand my ground, won't be turned around. And I'll keep this world from dragging me down. Gonna stand my ground.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Yes, I am back live here on KLRNRadio.com, where liberty and reason still reign. Now, we are moving on. If you listen to the international news reports, the U.S. cannot be trusted. Well, we did pull out of the Iran nuclear deal. However, it was a bad deal. It really was. And I'm sorry, the Iran nuclear deal seemed to do nothing to change Iran's behavior on the world stage. It really hasn't. And even the IOC, International Olympic Committee, hasn't granted an exemption to lift a ban on sporting goods being sent to North Korea. Last month, Thomas Bach asked the UN Security Council North Korea Sanctions Committee for an exemption to allow the transfer of sports equipment. Now, this was fiercely objected to by the United States. The U.S. vetoed giving an exemption. Now, was it petty? Maybe. However, I'm not sure I want to give North Korea anything they could make use of for any reason. And all their sports teams is another way to host propaganda. North Korea, by the way, is chiding us. Thursday, they denounced calls for the United States for enforcing international sanctions despite the goodwill moves, and said that denuclearization promises could not be expected to be upheld if Washington followed a, quote, outdated acting script. Excuse me. You're the one following the outdated script, North Korea. You're the one who, as always, does just a little and expects everything on a silver platter in return. Womp womp. Fail. Because that's not how it works. And I know I started on Iran, but trust me, they are linked. Oh, you didn't know they were linked? Well, they are trading partners, and North Korean's foreign minister happens to be in a rather interesting location. Well, depending on what you think of Tehran. Kim Jong-un's top diplomat, Minister Ri Yong-ho, met with Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif in Tehran this week. Yes, to bolster long-standing relations between the two countries. Now, Ri's trip to Iran was the first by a senior North Korean official since Rouhani was elected last year. Alright, note they're talking only the officials. And they only said North Korea to Iran. I'm willing to bet Iran has been to North Korea in the interim. The North Korean foreign minister said he briefed Rouhani on the nuclear negotiations between Pyongyang and Washington. Iran and North Korea have maintained relations for decades. Iran, not Iraq. Soo Kim, a former CIA analyst who specializes in North Korea, said the Iran visit sent a message to the international community. The North Koreans are taking a two-pronged diplomatic approach by continuing negotiating with the U.S. while pursuing diplomacy and ally building with our enemies. And yes, I'm saying enemies. They're playing a game. They're giving us hope. But they're really not doing anything worth talking about. Yeah, North Korea dismantled a couple of test sites. Woohoo. Let's see. We had what they dismantled was a nuclear test site that had partially collapsed, potentially killing up to 200 workers. What we had was an engine test site, not a launch site, but an engine test site that they're finished with the rocket engines. They don't need to test any more engines. Now, these two, Iran wrote the book on evading sanctions, and I guarantee you they have handed a copy of that playbook over to North Korea and Russia. And China most certainly doesn't want the United States any closer to their borders than South Korea. In fact, they wished we weren't even there. Need I remind you of how China overreacted to the emplacement of THAAD? Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System? They went bunkers! Now, Ri told Rouhani that our pullout from the 2015 nuclear deal was an action against international rules and regulations. First of all, this was not a treaty. It was not a treaty. A treaty would have had to have been ratified by Congress. And let's just face it, Obama couldn't get that thing through Congress no matter what. Now, the Iranian foreign minister said in the current situation, friendly countries should develop their relations and cooperation. And he stated that Iran and North Korea have always had close views on many issues. Now, Ri was just at the same security forum in Singapore where Mike Pompeo was. And those two sparred over an agreement made at June's landmark summit to denuclearize. The two sides vowed to work towards North Korean denuclearization, but have since struggled to do anything. North Korea's foreign ministry goes, well, we've stopped testing missiles and conducting nuclear tests, and we've dismantled the nuclear test ground. And I'm sitting here like the rest of everybody watching this going, yeah, So, now I have to give credit where credit is due. They did return the remains of U.S. soldiers killed. In fact, that dog tag, yes, the one lone dog tag, which we still don't know if there were any of those remains in any of the boxes. But Larry McDaniel of Jacksonville, Florida, and his brother Charles McDaniel are sons of Master Sergeant Charles Hobart McDaniel, who died in the Korean War, were given his dog tag by an official of the Army's Past Conflicts and Casualty Office, August 8th in Arlington. The lone dog tag that North Korea provided. When you're talking over 7,000 families that are missing, there are over 7,000 families missing a loved one. And they got the one dog tag. That is an amazing position to be in. Now, all the while, North Korea and Seoul are discussing a third summit. Yes, they have had 2 meetings, although I'm not sure one would really be classified as a summit. It was more of an emergency meeting, but it happened, and it was the leaders. A meeting at Panmunjom would be easier to arrange. However, President Moon hasn't accepted an invitation from Kim Jong-un to visit Pyongyang. The South's Unification Ministry said on Thursday that North Korea had proposed holding ministerial-level talks at Panmunjom on Monday to discuss the preparations for another summit meeting. North Korea said yes. Well, I'm willing to bet anybody would. Now, North Korea has behaved in gangster style. Oh, very much gangster style. The U.S. has canceled the joint annual exercises with the South this year, but Ri Yong-ho says the United States is not doing enough, even though his country has halted nuclear missile tests, demolished an underground nuclear test site, and dismantled a missile engine test site. Hey, you're finished testing engines, you're finished with the underground tests, and you aren't launching rockets. Yeah, those are all steps you are already doing. Let's see you stop making ICBMs. That would be a step in the right direction, North Korea. Now, what North Korea wants from South Korea, they want an end to the Korean War. They want a formal peace treaty instead of the ceasefire. Now, American officials are reluctant to grant such a highly symbolic concession because North Korea considers denuclearization essential to showing that the United States is no longer hostile towards the North. What North Korea means by denuclearization is all U.S. forces off the peninsula. I don't see it happening, friends. All this is going on, by the way, while North Korea is getting an early start on preparations for a major anniversary in September. Troops and equipment are already staging in Kim Il-sung Square for preparation for a military parade. And yes, the parade isn't until September 9th, But it is the 70th anniversary of the day of the foundation of the quote-unquote Republic of North Korea. Please remember that it is called the DPRK, Democratic People's Republic of Korea. Yeah, that is a tongue twister, aka North Korea. And North Korea has been rocking the military parades consistently since 2012 when KJU took over. And if you recall, that's when they first showed off one of their big missiles that, well, let's just say it wasn't completely a prop. May not have had anything in it to make it go boom, but it wasn't a prop. The outer casing was real. So, North Korea's gearing up for a parade, South Korea's getting ready to talk to them, and one family got a case of dog tags, and North Korea doesn't trust us, and Iran says we're worthless. Well, Iran, you stop acting a fool and threatening to block the Strait of Hormuz, and stop working on missile technology, and act sane, and stop funding terrorists. Maybe we can do something. Iran, you start with stopping the nuclear weapons. All right, folks. Yes, we have reached the time to yet again take a commercial break. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at Radio Host Jesse. And I'll be back here on KLRNRadio Radio.com live, where liberty and reason still reign, after this brief commercial break.
Back down. No, I'll stand my ground. Won't be turned around. And I'll keep this world from dragging me down. Gonna stand my ground.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk, or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Hidden Traps is now available in paperback and ebook from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-783-0810 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-783-0810. Again, that's 800-783-0810.
Keep swinging for the fences. It's like this heart is defenseless against a passion that's pumping through my veins. Blood, sweat, tears, it's a calling. And if I can't walk, then I'm crawling. It might flicker, but they can't kill the flame.
All right, thank you for hanging in there with me while we paid those radio station bills. And yes, we are back here on KLRNRadio.com, where liberty and reason still reign. By the way, Secretary Mattis, who always seems to be on the move, is heading to South America. Now, this will be his first trip to South America. He's been all over the place. And he's going to start in Brazil and then Argentina. Speaking of Argentina, interesting things are apaw. Yes, they are. Argentina voted on abortion. Now, we are not talking the way we have abortion. They have zero access to abortion. Argentina was just trying to recognize abortion in terms of mother's life or rape, etc. Now, speaking of South America, let's talk Venezuela briefly. Nikki Haley traveled to Colombia. Wait, I said Venezuela. Time out, I'll make the dots. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley, announced that the United States will spend almost $9 million in Colombia in a bid to care for thousands of Venezuelan refugees there, in order to encourage them not to move further north. With this funding, the U.S. government's humanitarian assistance for the regional response to the Venezuelan crisis now totals more than $46 million since fiscal year 2017. These additional funds build on the United States' ongoing effort to provide food, medical care, water, and other critical humanitarian aid in Colombia and throughout the region. Now, Caracas accused Colombian and Venezuelan expats in Florida of an assassination attempt against President Nicolas Maduro. Remember, there were 2 drones filled with explosives. They took a shot at him. They exploded as he was making a speech. He wasn't hurt. Everybody was flipping out, but he wasn't hurt. Yes, everyone is terrified of what's going on in Venezuela. Hint, guys, this is what socialism looks like. I'm not going any further down that rabbit hole, although we all know I could. Alright, so we've got Mattis going to South America, and Nikki Haley was just there. Now let's get back to Russia. Yes, the Russian ruble. The ruble led the world in currency losses, and Russian bonds slumped with stocks after the U.S. announced new sanctions over the nation's use of Novichok. Remember the Skripal poisoning? Yeah, that. The currency sank to its lowest since November 2016, after the U.S. sanctioned Russia over the Norwegian attack in the UK. It extended a decline that began earlier Wednesday after Russian media published the full text of a separate bill in Washington seeking crushing sanctions for election meddling. All right, so there's a bill for sanctions on Russian meddling, and their currency took a nosedive because, well, Trump is getting sanctions over Novichok. The State Department said the sanctions tied to the use of the chemical weapons are expected to take effect around August 22nd. A second round of sanctions will be imposed and can be imposed as early as 90 days later unless Russia meets conditions, including providing assurances it will no longer use chemical or biological weapons and will allow on-site inspections to verify it has stopped doing so. Russia's news media posted a draft of the legislation calling for sanctions because of their election meddling. And it's not going to move until the House is back in September. But then you get this round of sanctions. And I'd like to know how much tougher on Russia are we going to be. I agree, we need sanctions on both cases. The sanctions are useful to demonstrate that, A, we are not soft on much of anything when you come messing with stuff you shouldn't be messing with, i.e. chemical, biological warfare, election tampering, and more. Now, another currency that just absolutely plummeted was Turkey's lira. Now, the reasoning behind that, well, it's a little vaguer. But let's see what I can do to unpack it. The ruble slid over 1%, and the lira hit record low against the dollar, dropping 4%. Over the sanctions potentially being imposed over Ankar's jailing of an American pastor. So there we have it. That's the thing. Now, I promised everybody a good guys with guns. Let's get it together.
I never fired a shot to harm one soul. Self-defense is my number one goal. To the politicians, don't be so stupid. I'm keeping my arms to protect my kids. None of the gun laws ever stop the criminal. More CCPs will keep crime minimal.
Alright. I have 2 articles that I will do very quickly because I am almost out of time and I'm well aware of this. A gunman opened fire at a back-to-school event in Florida. Then an armed bystander stepped in. Shots rang out at the event approximately at 5:20 p.m. on a Saturday after a fistfight. One of the individuals in the fight later came back to the park where the back-to-school event was ongoing and opened fire, endangering the lives of dozens of children. That's when a bystander, who was legally licensed to carry a concealed firearm, drew his weapon and fired on the gunman, shooting him in the head. The gunman did not die. Police have not released the identity of the suspect or the armed bystander. The gunman was the only person injured in the chaos and was airlifted to a local hospital with life-threatening injuries. The armed citizen who shot the gunman had been fully cooperative with law enforcement, and police said that if he had not acted, the situation could have ended up much worse. And they're extremely grateful nobody else was injured in this incident. The suspect that opened fire on a crowded park, and they say this could have been so much worse. no charges are expected to be filed on the concealed carry permit holder. Man reportedly tries to carjack woman and kids. Concealed carry gun owner comes to the rescue. Police arrested Ruben Garcia Lopez for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, assault, terroristic threat, and resisting arrest in connection with an attempted carjacking. Lopez, who was armed with a knife, approached her woman and boyfriend Thursday and attempted to carjack her car. Now, what's the big deal? Her kids were still in the car. A neighbor got home and saw the alleged carjacking in progress. Well, he was armed. And he approached the suspect. And guess what? This time the suspect had a brain and dropped the knife and waited calmly for police. Probably not very calmly, but he waited for police and was taken into custody. Nope, the trigger doesn't always have to be pulled. Alright, folks, follow me on Twitter at Radio Host Jesse. And that's it, and I'm gone.